Hi, there are only four chords and one chord progression or sequence for the song. If you had seen Ed Sheeran's YouTube Shorts version of the song, he showed four chords, and these are A minor, F, C, and G. And this set of chords are the ones that he also used during his live performance at MTV VMAs 2021. But his YouTube Shorts version and his live performance at the MTV are at a whole step lower than the recorded pitch or key. And this content or tutorial is based on the official version of the song. And the chords are B minor, G, D, and A. Let's learn or review the chords first. The first chord to be played is B minor. Looking at the chord diagram, you will have your index finger to press all strings at 2nd fret, your middle finger on the 2nd string at 3rd fret, your ring finger on the 4th string at 4th fret, and your pinky on the 3rd string at 4th fret. For this chord, the number 6 string or the top string is a dead string, meaning it is not supposed to be played. So you only strum 5 strings. Then this is followed by G. G is played with your index finger on the 5th string at 2nd fret, your middle finger on the 6th string at 3rd fret, and your ring finger on the 1st string at 3rd fret. And for this chord, there are no dead strings. That means all the strings are to be played. But I would like to suggest that for this chord, you add one more finger. Position your ring finger on the 2nd string at 3rd fret, and then your pinky on the 1st string at 3rd fret. So for this G, you have 4 fingers. Then this is followed by D, and for this chord, your index finger on the 3rd string at 2nd fret, your middle finger on the 1st string at 2nd fret, and your ring finger on the 2nd string at 3rd fret. But you have 2 dead strings. The number 5 and the number 6 strings are not to be played, so you strum only 4 strings. So for this chord, try to just limit your right hand movement to brush 4 strings only. Then this is followed by A, and for this chord, you have your index finger on the 4th string, your middle finger on the 3rd string, and your ring finger on the 2nd string. All 3 fingers are at 2nd fret, and the 6th string is also dead. That means you strum only 5 strings. Or you can also play this chord with the other set of fingers, middle finger on the 4th string, ring finger on the 3rd string, and pinky on the 2nd string. So the chord progression is B minor, G, D, and A. If you notice, you have a nice transition from this chord G to D. You can just leave your ring finger on that string. So this is G, going to D, just leave your ring finger on that string, and reposition your 2 fingers, your index on the 3rd string, and your middle finger on the 1st string. Listening to the record, you can hear that there are several rhythmic patterns applied in the song. To keep this tutorial simple, I will just introduce one strumming pattern throughout the whole song with a couple of variations on how the A major chord is played in some instances or in some parts of the song. Although this song can be applied with the basic 8-note rhythmic patterns, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and the strumming pattern or rhythmic pattern that I will suggest for this tutorial is generally appropriate for this song. By the way, if you want to learn more about basic rhythmic patterns like whole note, half note, quarter note, and 8-note rhythms, click to this link for that lesson. Now here is the strumming pattern. As you can see, the pattern is a sequence of 5 strokes. The first 3 strokes are downstrokes, followed by an upstroke, and then the last stroke is a downstroke. And that happens within one measure, or is good for one measure. And to be able to follow the pattern, you have to do 8-note counting. So you have to practice 8-note counting. First, do at a slower tempo, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Before I illustrate or do a demonstration of the pattern, let's discuss the suggested strumming pattern in details first. The first stroke is a downstroke right at count 1, and then the second stroke is another downstroke right at count 2, and then the third stroke is a downstroke between counts 2 and 3, and then the fourth stroke is an upstroke between counts 3 and 4, and the last stroke is a downstroke right at count 4. In terms of duration, the first stroke is actually a quarter note, the second stroke is an 8th note, the third stroke is another quarter note, the fourth stroke is an 8th note, and the last stroke is another quarter note. But in terms of strokes, it's a combination of down, 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 up, down. To illustrate the pattern, I will do a demonstration of it at a slower tempo. And the tempo is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and with the pattern it goes like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and for you to be able to follow the pattern, you have to practice 8-note counting at a slow tempo and learn to count steady and even, and do it for several measures or several rounds. And when you get comfortable at counting at a slow tempo, then apply the corresponding strokes as you count. Each of the chords are played for 2 measures. So illustrating the pattern with the chord at that slow tempo, it sounds like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 the variation that I'm talking about is how A major chord is played in some instances. For those instances, A is not played with the suggested strumming pattern for 2 measures. The suggested strumming pattern is played for the first measure of that chord, but when you get to the second measure, another strumming pattern is applied, which is actually a basic rhythmic pattern. So if you want to learn more about the basic rhythmic pattern, which is quarter note that is applied, check that link that I mentioned earlier. The basic quarter note is a downstroke at count 1, at count 2, at count 3, and at count 4. So for those instances where A major chord is played differently, this pattern for the first measure, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then the quarter note pattern for on the second measure, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So to put these 2 patterns together for the playing time of A major chord, it goes like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's how A major chord is played in some instances. And then the last one is the ending of the song. A major chord is the last chord in the progression, and that chord is the last chord to be played. And for that last time, the first measure for A is still the pattern that I'm suggesting, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... But on the second measure, or actually the last measure of the song, It's still a quarter note rhythm, but not for the entire last measure. It's just a downstroke at count 1, at count 2, and at count 3. And when you get to count number 4, that's when you stop the strumming, or that's when you stop the strings from ringing. So to illustrate that, it goes like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Click the card for the demonstration or performance video. Subscribe to be notified automatically for new uploads. Thank you for watching.